everyone, this is Ben, and I want to thank you for joining us on the Semper Gumby channel today. Well, we are in the Gumby garage because we are going to work on a project and involving our Redodo lithium battery. Now, several weeks ago, I received my Redodo battery. This is the Lithium 12.8 volt 100 amp mini battery. It's a LiFePO 4, which stands for lithium iron phosphate battery. And this one packs 100 amp in a small package. But in the last video that I did with the battery, we showed and talked about the specifications and the internals and just a description of the battery. Today, we are going to install the battery into the camper using a battery tray, battery rods, and a surface tie-down clamp for the top, because we don't want this battery to be moving around while we're transporting, and we wanted to have it secured so to prevent any damages, prevent any short circuits, just prevent any cables tearing up. So we're going to go install this into the camper battery box. But before I start, I want to thank again Redodo for supplying this battery to us. This is a 12.8 volt 100 amp battery in the mini size, weighing only about 20 pounds. This thing has a lot of power in a small compact design. Now, the reason for me installing the battery tray, and this is what we're going to be using here right here today, is so that the Redodo battery or lithium battery doesn't move around and slide and bounce while we're transporting or towing the camper. And having a good secured battery will prevent damages to it, prevent damages to the box, or even as far as tear some cables out. So having a good battery tray is pretty optimum for that. I purchased this battery tray for about $6 on Amazon. But I did make a mistake when I purchased it.
No! God, please, no! No!
I didn't measure the height of the battery because I thought it was going to be universal fit. These are 8-inch rods that come with the battery tray. And the battery from Redodo is about 9 inches. So I was pretty short. I could not secure the battery with these rods. They did come with a battery clamp for the top, but like I said, there was no way to secure this because these rods were too short. So what I did, I had to go back on Amazon and reorder just the rods itself. Now, the rods that I ordered are 10-inch and the battery is 9-inch, so it gives me about 1 inch, a little less than 1 inch to play around with for adjustment. And it did come with a aluminum clamp for the top, and you know, it's red anodized. They got blue, red, black, and white, but I went with the red, and the clamps, the rods itself. They do come with some bolts and some washers, and I think I paid about $7 for these two. So the overall price for the tray was $11 for the first time, and then this. So I've got about $22 invested in the battery tray. Now, the battery tray has 4 holes in there for some bolts, but they're pretty small. And I went and bought some 5/16 bolts. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to drill out the holes on the tray. I just wanted it a little bit stronger than the little 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch bolt. I went with the, like I said, the 5/16 bolts. And then I'll just drill the floor, and then we'll be able to mount our battery. Now, before you start drilling holes, you want to make sure you know where you want to put the battery and how you're going to mount it. Now, I plan on putting more than one battery into this eventually, so I am going to leave enough room for an additional battery. Okay. So I'm going to place the tray, and I might even use right there. So I just need to mark the bolts, holes, and we should be good to go. So before we drill, I want to make sure there's enough room next to that bolt underneath for the tray. So, and you want to make sure you're clear of all wires and connections. So we'll go ahead and start drilling that right here. All right, so I've been using this DeWalt 20 volt max lithium ion battery for about 4 years. The batteries are starting to get a little drained down. So, hey, DeWalt, if you're watching this, you want me to do some videos on your batteries, you want to be a sponsor of the channel, hit me up. Okay, I got the battery tray mounted, and we need to vacuum out some of this shavings, and then we'll mount the Redodo battery in there. Okay, note to oneself: before you put the bottom bolts in, make sure you got these rods installed before you start bolting down those bolts. Because if not, you're gonna have to remove them and start all over again. How do I know? Well, just say, I know. So once you got your 10-inch rods in, you can go ahead and start bolting down the battery tray bolts. Now we've got our trays in, we got our rods in, and we have your positive and negative connections. So I'm going to put the positive on that side just because it is longer, and the negative is closer to here. Okay. Oh. Okay. Then you take your top bracket, and if you look at it, you got one side that's cut out and one side that's flat. You want to put the ones with the inserts on the outside. Okay. Now, I don't know why, but they did include wing nuts, but they don't fit on the rods. So they also give you some washers and nuts. So go ahead and drop them puppies on. I don't know why one is taller than the other. And you always want to make sure that your switch is off, all right? So I've got an off position for the battery. I'll go ahead and install the posts. And I'm a real stickler for having cables run. I just don't like cables looking like a bird nest on my stuff. So I normally run my cables through, and then I'll tie wrap them together, and I just like it to look neat. So I guess that's my OCD. But once you get everything where you wanted, you can go ahead and start tightening down your terminal bolts. And I believe they're 1/2-inch bolts. Yep. Don't over tighten them. You just want them snug. Like I said, these are just terminal bolts. You don't need them German tight. You just need them tight. There you go. And then I'll probably take a tie wrap and wrap it around the post here to prevent the battery wires from getting pulled out. So like I mentioned before, I just don't like my wires all messy and all over the place. So what I'll do is I'll tie wrap them to the post just to make them look a little bit neater. Like I said, I just can't stand wires all over the place and looking like a bird nest. And always give enough slack to where, you know, the wires won't pull out. When I worked on aircraft in the Coast Guard, I was really OCD about how my wire looms and tire wraps and everything went. And there we go. Nice and neat. Batteries installed. And then you can go ahead and put these plugs on to prevent anything from hitting the terminals. There you go, folks. Now we're going to go ahead and charge the Redodo battery. That we can get our okay. So now it's beeping. We go ahead and turn on the. Now that it's beeping, it's giving us a low voltage. We'll go ahead and turn the battery to on. And we are now charging our battery. And okay, we are now charging our battery. And we'll come back in an hour or so and check what the voltage is, and then we should be all set. All right, gang, well, that's just a short tutorial video on how to install a battery tray for your lithium iron phosphate batteries. That was my Redodo. I want to thank Redodo for giving me the battery for review and testing and to power up my camper. So again, thank you to them. You always want to have your battery or electronics secured, no matter what brand or what type of battery it is. You don't want it to move around and then short circuit out, and then you have the chance of frying your electrical system. I do have a fuse close to my battery. So if that would ever had to happen, the fuse would blow first before blowing out the rest of the stuff. So I do have a bunch of overload protection also on this. But you know, if you like the content, go ahead and subscribe and hit that subscribe button on the bottom and then hit that bell notification on the top, and you will be notified of all new content that we put out. For the subscribers that have been with us since day one, thank you. And it is muggy and humid as heck. Feels like about 105 degrees. I just can't wait until summer is over so Hoku and I could take this out in the fall weather and then enjoy some camping. So anyway, I appreciate you guys sticking with us. And if you got any comments, go ahead and put them in the boxes below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Again, thank you all for joining us today on the channel and this video. And then until next time, no matter what life throws at you, always be Semper Gumby. Semper Gumby out. Haven't tried the coffee? Go to www.sempergumbycoffee.com. Once there, check out our 20+ blends of coffee.